Welcome to the Backstage Stories of Women on Stage, a podcast by Women on Stage recorded live. Let's go backstage and amplify the voices of leading women in tech from all across the globe. Get inspired and learn something new, because if you can see it, you can be it. Join us. Visit womenonstage.net. Hi, everybody. This is Moran Weber. I'm the CEO and founder of Women on Stage, and you're listening to the Backstage podcast, where we amplify the voices of leading women in tech. And for those of you who don't know us, Women on Stage is a global community platform to showcase, book, and train women professional tech speakers for any tech event, conference, meetup, or webinar, or podcast. And we're now finally starting a new podcast. And this is the pilot episode. And today we're talking about how to turn your everyday job into a tech talk and how to find content everywhere. We'll be hosting Mey Beisaron, who is a renowned speaker at tech conferences worldwide. She developed a unique method to help people come up with their original content for tech talks as part of their day-to-day job. She's also one of our team trainers at the Women on Stage Academy course. And in this episode, she will give us tips and tricks on finding content everywhere, even if you feel you have nothing to say. So if you ever wanted to become a tech speaker and didn't know where to start, stay right here. So hi, thanks for joining us, May.
Hi, I'm so excited listening to you in awe. I always love it when you speak.
Yeah, I feel the same when May and me we go way back. She's a dear friend. I didn't mention that before, but she's a friend and really a professional. I admire her journey. So let us start from the beginning and tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, Go ahead, May. Stage is yours.
Yeah, so I guess I want to tell a little bit about my professional day-to-day job that when I'm not on stage talking at conferences, which is most of the time, even though sometimes people think it's the other way around. Social media, it's a
Mhm.
lie. Okay, so every day I go to work at Forder. I'm a DevOps engineer there. I've been at Forder for almost 2 years now. Before that, I've been a backend developer for about 6 years. And I've been around different companies, big companies like AppsFlyer, and then also small startups. And yeah, I started my journey as a software engineering student. It was horrible, but I graduated. It
Why
wasn't
was it
horrible
so horrible?
because it was just, I don't want to be the cliche, but I guess you can't avoid it if you're a one of two women in a very technical college of engineering, and it's never easy, even though you try really hard to be one of the guys. Newsflash, you're not.
Exactly. So you decided to become a DevOps engineer because you wanted
Yeah,
to keep that
I
going
know,
on
I
for
know.
you.
It's like I'm saying it's the exact opposite. I'm saying how it was so horrible being not being one of the guys, but you know, during my years in the industry, I've learned how to be one of a group and not one of the guys, and to just to feel as part of everything, even though that there are some things I'm not part of. And when I felt that there are things that I'm not part of, I went and I became a DevOps because I felt that as a backend developer, there were still things that I wasn't aware of, that I didn't know, and I wanted to know. So I went and I did it. I went and became a DevOps engineer. It wasn't that easy, but I did it. Yeah.
I think you have that thing like going on for you, that you have that challenge and then you go and you get it, and people are always surprised when they see you, um,
Yeah.
because you are quite a surprising person. So I'm curious I'm curious to learn about your journey. How so you said you were like it computer science was horrible for you,
Yeah.
and but you did it anyway. So I'm curious to learn about your journey. How did you start with speaking in tech conferences? How did you even how did you even think that you're capable of doing that?
So I thought that I was not capable. That was the first thought that I had on it. So when I got my first job after college, I still felt kind of alone in the tech world because I had no connections. I had a few friends from college, but I didn't have real connections. And I found out about this Facebook group called Baot, which is a huge, I'm saying huge, but it's huge in Israel, right? Because over 6,000 members, which are all female engineers, researchers, all in
Data
computer
scientists.
science and data scientists. Um, so it feels huge, coming from such a small country. So I joined this Facebook group, and I wanted to meet more women. I wanted to have friends. So they had this program for helping other women become tech speakers. And I didn't even think I'm going to be a tech speaker. I didn't even want, I just wanted to meet other women. And I went and I got two mentors, amazing women, professional, and they started training me. And when it was time to submit to the first conference, I air quote forgot to submit my application. You're laughing because you know that A, sometimes I do forget things. B, I don't forget the really important things. And that's what they said. They called me up on it and they said, you did not forget. They made me submit, and they helped me throughout the journey. And even when I was super scared, the moment before I went up on stage, they were there. They looked right into my eyes, and I did it. And I'm still scared today, but now I know that I can look in, many other different people and get that confident. And now I want you to ask me why. How do I get confident from people I don't know? Ask me.
Go ahead.
How? Yeah, I know.
How?
How?
How do you do that?
So, um, I know that I will probably never see them again. So it doesn't matter if I will say something wrong.
But that's interesting because you didn't we didn't discuss it yet, but you have these workshops that you do for to help people to speak about their day-to-day jobs, and you do it at at your day-to-day job. I
Right.
mean, it's not your day job, but
Right.
it's something that you do. So you do get to see them again
I
and
know.
again.
Yeah.
So how is that
Right.
possible?
So it was half joke, half true. Because I just say, okay, if I see this person again and I made a mistake, let's say, okay, because I feel maybe personally, this is my worst fear, that I will make a mistake, either, like because I forgot the words or because I got the information wrong. Oh my God, this is way worse, right? I don't know something. That's horrible.
Mm, God
Yeah.
forbid.
Oh my God, I have to know everything, right? No,
Hmm.
wrong. But still, that's the feeling that you have when you're going up on stage. So I started by convincing myself with that, like, okay, you're not going to see those people. Don't worry about it. But then I did made a few mistakes, and I met the people again. And guess what? It was okay. Um, I, I mean, we make mistakes at work, and we're still considered as professionals. We make mistakes everywhere. Everybody makes mistakes, and then we're still alive, well, appreciated, friends of, of people that are still friends with you. So it's okay. That's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to make mistakes, even if you'll never see those people again. Great. And even if you will see those people again, also great, because you expect them to be human and say, okay, you made a mistake, so what? And then I want to add something. You don't always make mistakes. That's, this also happens. We always talk about how what's going to happen when we make a mistake. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Guess what? You are not going to make a mistake 100% of the time.
You know, that's so true. And I also want to add that people are usually really, really surprised. Like when they see you go up on stage, they always assume that you're a pro. It does, you don't get scared, you don't get anxious. So newsflash, this even like this very podcast, this is the pilot episode, and I thought to myself, well, yeah, I can do it by now, but I still got scared. I still got anxious. What if I'm wrong? What if things go wrong? What if we make mistakes? What if this
She
entire
really did ask me
episode?
what if we'll be wrong. She really did.
So yeah, so I think we really need to normalize that feeling and to understand that it's okay. Everybody gets that. It's really, really supernatural, and just go with the flow. You've really got this. So now I want to speak a little bit about, so how do we find content? Let's say that, and this is something I hear all the time. I meet women all the time, men as well, actually, and they tell me, well, okay, so I think I want to start somewhere someday, but I don't have anything to talk about. I don't have anything important or interesting enough to say. So what would you tell those people?
So I think this is like the most interesting part now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we find a subject to talk about? How do I find something to say? If my job is boring, if the projects that I did are not that good, maybe it's not even at a high enough level. What if I'm just a student? Obviously, I don't
some
have something to teach. Mm,
sometimes people do find their job interesting, but they still don't think
going
it's
to the
worth.
extent, just like saying, what if I make a mistake? Like I always go to the 100%. Of course, you're going to make a mistake, 100%. And then I said, you're not going to make, right? So I'm going again with that idea.
Okay.
Your job is completely boring. You have the project that you work on, boring. Again, I'm saying things. I'm sure it's not 100% true, but let's go with that. Or you're a student, which means you're just at the beginning of your way, or maybe you're a junior developer, also beginning your way in this world of tech. How do you find something to tell other people? Why would other people listen to you? So the first thing is, uh, if you think your subject is going to be boring, I'm going to ask you, to who? It's going to be boring to who? Everyone, 100% of the people on this earth are going to find it completely boring, useless. Are you sure? I'm not sure. How can you be sure? Did you ask everyone? So that's the first thing, right? And after we realize that it's half funny, half true, right? Now let's think about a subject that we now know that is not going to be 100% boring to 100% of the people of this world, because we just can't ask everyone, right? So the way to do that is this is how I do it. I don't know, I'm saying the way. It's not the way, it's how I do it, and I think
Your way.
yeah, it's my way, right? So I start by making a list. Let's say there's a new conference that I want to submit to, and if sometimes they have a list of possible subjects and it helps me to think about something, but sometimes it's just, oh, developers conference, okay, you can submit anything. So what's anything? I start by making a list. What are the things or technologies that I encountered in the past few years, maybe months? So I start writing down things like, specific framework, a library. I love Clojure. It's a programming language. So I wrote a few names of Clojure libraries that I started to use. I wrote names of maybe Kafka APIs. Does that sound interesting? I don't know. Is it? Remember what we said. I wrote names of programming languages like Clojure, Go, Groovy. Is Groovy interesting? Do you get the idea? I don't know. Is it? And after I write this list, I then start to look. I have like a few, I have a few subjects, like, I don't want to say subjects, but maybe a few titles that you can just put those words into these titles. And I'm sure that you've seen those titles if you've ever, came across any tech talk. And here's what I mean. If I tell you that I'm going to do a talk that is named Terraform, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is it going to sound super surprising or different? Something that you've never heard this built of a title? First of all, it is a talk that is made by a dear friend of mine, Hila Fish. It's a great talk. Go watch it. But there are many other talks that goes by something, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Why? Because it's easy to build your talk around it. You know that now you take Terraform, which is a huge thing to talk about, but you're only going to focus on three things: something good, something bad, and something that is just ugly. And then it's maybe funny, maybe it's weird, maybe it's a use case. You can make whatever you want from it. And now we can take it and say that about Kafka. You can take it and say that about Clojure. You can take it and say that about literally anything. So what I advise you to do is go ahead and look at other talks titles and try to put these words that you put on your list into those titles. It does not mean that you copy anyone's idea. And if there are other talks that says something, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that is very much okay. There are so many results on Google. They can totally handle another result with the same name. Just saying. The content is what matters.
That's such a great tip, and I especially like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Do you have any
Love this
other,
one.
like, I call them like the clickbait
Yeah,
titles?
I love clickbaits. So I have one that I think is funny. Again, funny is subjective. I say, like, I have one that is very much clickbait, but it's like a clickbait with a wink. I dropped something. It's a clickbait with a wink. So I do something like three things you didn't know about X. You will not believe number four. And you know. And then it's not really a clickbait, but it sounds like one, and then it makes you laugh. So that's another one. And again, you can put anything into it. Three things you didn't know. Now then sometimes you may say, how do I know if those things are things that somebody doesn't know? I'm gonna ask you, my questions, right? Everybody, everyone, 100% of the people on this earth, they know the thing that you're talking about. By the way, some things are like that. Don't talk about, if the sun is up in the sky, don't talk about that. But if you have a few things that you experience at work, then you can make three things that somebody didn't know that you can do with Terraform.
That's amazing. I think people are generally like, they feel they have this like they have this misconception where if they're like doing something every day, and that's their job, they know it by heart, and they get the sense that everyone knows it like perfectly, exactly like they do.
Mhm.
And sometimes it actually causes confusion because they think everybody knows it. So for one, they don't want to talk about it because they think it's like trivial. And once they do start to talk about it, they assume everybody knows the entire, like, the foundations, and then
Right.
they're really surprised about that. So I really, I couldn't agree more with your tips. So
Yeah.
I just, it just dawned on me that um you didn't tell us about your share a little bit about your workshops,
Hmm.
about the workshops that you're doing, and how many conferences um, did you get like in the past, ever since you started, which was like how long? 4 years
So
ago? 5 years ago?
5 years ago, 2018, my first conference was Reversim. It's an Israeli conference. I think one of my favorite conference in this world, and I've been to quite a lot. And that's exactly the question: how many conferences? Look, in 2019, when I was able to travel before COVID, I did 4 or 5 conferences a month. Sometimes I didn't even go back home.
A
Like
month.
a month. It was crazy. I
That's
had a few big
incredible.
talks. Yeah, but then we had COVID. I did a few online conferences, and today I take it easy. So I do 5 or 6 conferences every 2 months. That's okay. That's
That's still a
laid back.
lot.
That's okay. I it's not that a lot, but I mean, I
You get
truly
to
love it.
travel.
I get to travel, and I truly love it. And you asked about the workshops. So why do we want a workshop for doing a tech talk? So and that's going to tell what's happening in this workshop. So people have to present at work something technical all the time. It's not part of the job definition unless you're a developer advocate. But if you're not a developer advocate and you're a developer of any kind, your job definition is to develop something. It does not say develop and present presentations. If it does say, I want to know about it. It's interesting. But let's say I get 90%. Okay. So it means that when you have to present, most of the times, because it's something that you're not trained to do, it's not going to be as good as you hoped it would be. And for the other people who are watching, it's just not fun. And I'm going to leave it at not fun. Because when you take something that is hard enough, it's hard as it is, you are not enthusiastic to do it. So the result is eh. So in this workshop, we talk about how to build a presentation from scratch. We talk about how to present technical ideas within your workplace, even if you only have people from your team and it's not that important. Oh, yes, it is important. And then we talk about how to present things. How is that different than presenting to the entire R&D? How is that different than presenting to a group of managers? And we talk about different technical presentations and how you adapt them. And all of those tips, they also apply to conferences. And I'm just talking about uh, thinking about your target audience. That's what I wanted to say, and I keep going around it. So thinking about your target audience, that's one of the main things that we go through. The other thing that we do is literally build the presentation. I'm not a designer. Most of the times I didn't have designers in my workshop, and I still aim at having beautiful presentations, and I show them how we can do that in minimum, I promise you, minimum amount of time. I have a few tricks, um, and then by the end of the workshop they have kind of a baseline for a presentation of about 5 minutes if they had a subject. If not, I help them find a subject. And that's it. So people leave this workshop and they know all of these 3 things that I talked about. And then sometimes people want to show me what they did for work because they're so proud of themselves that it's not ugly anymore. And I am so proud of them. I am going to make this world more beautiful, one presentation at a time.
Can you share your tricks for the beautiful
Yeah.
presentation, and also about the boring content?
Yeah. Okay. So I have 2 amazing tips. You're, I can't believe I'm going to say it out loud, right? First tip, I watch TikToks on making beautiful presentations.
That's
Ta-da.
great. That's
Yeah. If you search PowerPoint in TikTok, yes, TikTok, if you search PowerPoint, you will see beautiful, amazing things. And because it's, short amount of, the videos are so short, I promise you those tips are super simple because they only have 30 seconds to show you what to do, right? We all have the attention span of a goldfish. So when we scroll through TikTok. So there you have it. That's the first thing. Second thing is try to minimize the amount of things. You know what? I'm going to say it this way: one purpose per slide, and have a purpose for the slide. Okay, one purpose is if you have many, many bullet points, we hate those. That's it. I'm going to speak for everyone. Everybody hates bullet points. You want to say a lot of
Did you
things?
ask everyone? Yes, I
Yes,
asked everyone. I
promise you that I could say. Yep, I went person one after the other. I've been to India. Okay, it's the joke is not funny anymore. But anyway, yeah, one purpose per slide. It means that if you have 6 bullet points, you can just make it into 6 slides. It doesn't cost you anything. Just have 6 different slides. Are you worried that your audience won't understand that these things are connected? Tell them the things from the past of 6 slides are connected, and trust that they have a good enough memory for 6 slides. Second thing is your slides should, they're there for a reason. And I say that because we've all been to this talk where somebody say, oh, I have a slide about that, but I'm not going to get into that today. How do we love this moment when we're like, why you wasted my time? We don't like people wasting our time. And that's about the boring part, because just like I said, that there is something that you on the spot decided not to get into. How did that happen? A lot of the times it's because people don't practice. And that's my third tip. If I had like the first 2 tips was one purpose per slide, every slide has a purpose. Third, and maybe most crucial, I don't want to choose. I think, no, all 3 are crucial. But let's say this is also very important: practice. I beg you, once, twice. Make sure that you know what you want to say. Don't decide what you want to say
Out loud.
out
Practice
loud.
out
Yes, people tell me,
loud.
I practiced in my heart, in my room, in front of a mirror. Did you? I don't
No,
believe
they usually like they read the notes like 10 minutes before they go
reading
up on
notes is not
stage.
practice.
No, no, that's not practicing. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
Practice, it's like it it's amazing. It's actually it's incredible how many things you find out only while you practice out loud. Even if you're alone and it feels really weird, like you're talking to yourself,
right.
that's okay. That's part of what you're supposed to do. You're
Exactly.
supposed to talk to yourself a little bit.
I have a number. Of the times that, like, how many times people ask me, how many times do I have to practice? So personally, my number is 8. I
8.
have a work.
Okay.
Yep, I have a workshop of 3 hours. I did this workshop 8 times before it went up officially to the wherever that I did it on the first time. And also, but it's not as hardcore when it's not 3 hours workshop. If it's just a 20 minutes talk, if you do it 3 times, I guarantee you it's not going to look the same in any of those 3 times. Just do it 4 times. It's a gold number. I'm going crazy. I love to do 8. Fine. Don't be me. Be yourself. Do 3 times, no less. The first time, you're going to hear yourself speaking. You're going to test your materials. Second time, you're going to test times. You're going to see, do I make it out on time? Do I want to add something? Do I need to cut something? That's the second time. Third time, perfection. This, and then from the third and on, you just make it more and more perfect, and it's your choice. But don't go below 3 times. Even if it's a presentation, again, air quote, just for your R&D. Is it really just? Aren't they are the people that work with you, and they should have a good professional opinion about you? Oh, yeah. Just practice 3 times.
Gold. Gold tips. Every tip is gold. So, just one last question, and then we'll finish for today.
Woo.
So, what is your favorite? What is your favorite talk? What is your favorite content today?
I knew, like, I felt this is where it's going. And I started to think about an answer, and you can tell by me stalling that I don't have an answer. But
I think it's your workshops. Don't
so
you think?
that's actually very true. I am so passionate uh, when I talk about giving presentations, and I love it when I see other people becoming tech speakers, and when I see them presenting something that they thought that is so boring, and then we find out together how we can make it into something super fun, and somebody's presenting a bug that they had and it sounds so dull, but then we're like, haha, it's not, it's great, there's so many tips you can give everyone. You had a bug, I had a bug, tell me about your bug, right? um so you know what, yes, my workshops, but I want to say also DevOps, because I have a few new DevOps talks and I'm excited about them. I love closure. I don't So that's the order: workshops, DevOps talks, closure.
I think your passion is like it what makes it so great, and I really recommend everyone to check out your videos on YouTube. Speaking
Star
at
Wars
other,
memes. People, Star Wars memes, come on. A lot of them. I love Star Wars. Did you know?
may the force be with you.
Woo!
So So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Once again, it was our pilot episode. And thank you so much, May, for joining us today and for those really like super amazing tips you gave us. And thank you for being such a huge contributor to Women on Stage right from the start. And thanks to everyone who joined in. We'd love to hear your feedbacks and your thoughts. Join us again at the Backstage Stories of Women on Stage. Visit womenonstage.net and follow us on social media. Bye.
Bye.